Welcome to the Genre of Your Life podcast, a show all about movies, TV, and the entertainment that defines us. I am one of your hosts, Doug Jones. With me, as always, are my amazing co-hosts and two of my closest friends. Starting off with Mr. Nick Johnson. How are you today, my good sir?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing real damn good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I missed you boys, man. Now we had the show was off last week. That was on me for becoming a dog dad. But I miss you guys, man. I missed the show because my Thursday nights are way better with you boys in the picture.
Hell yeah, same here, man.
And last but not least, the one, the only Mr. Joel Kindlen. How are you today, my good sir?
I'm alive.
We'll take it.
Life can be better, but I'm alive. That's all that matters.
It be like that. Gotta keep on keeping on.
Exactly. It is what it is.
That would sum up this year in a nutshell, if you ask me.
For real.
And more importantly, you all are here. Welcome to the show. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. If you're returning, welcome back. As always, guys, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and your favorite podcast platform of choice. We also have a full audio show of the show on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Midway Avenue Productions. While you're on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or where you listen to the show, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, leave a review, leave a rating, leave a comment. It helps us out so much. The more traction we get, the more viewers we get, the more numbers we get. It helps show out a lot. Like I said, over the summer we hit the 10K. We're still growing even more than ever. Some of our reactions have been getting a lot more views too. So we appreciate the support. And as always, guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. And we hope you are enjoying the show every week as we are making it for you guys. So keep on listening. What's funny? Speaking of which, it's funny. I was on this Nick today too. Our most viewed video is hilarious. Is me and Nick's reaction to Expendables 4, which is so kind of like mind-boggling. Like we've seen a bunch of shit a lot of movies this past year, like stuff from like The Flash that Joe saw The Flash as well. The stuff like Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible and what goes on Stray, stuff like that. But I find it funny that really our biggest video over almost 15,000 views on YouTube is the Expendables 4 out of theater reaction that we had to like re-record because the guy put his baby in the video originally.
I know that's wild, bro. I cannot believe that. That's funny.
I don't know if you saw this, Nick, but this is kind of funny. I saw this on our YouTube the other day. I was going through the comments for shits and gigs. And I'm assuming we have more, more viewership on our YouTube, which is great. I mean, most of our big thing is, that this show is like the podcast on Spotify and Apple. But I'll listen to comments here and there from time to time, usually on YouTube or TikTok. But YouTube, there's one guy I was laughing out loud. It's hilarious. And YouTube kind of like emailed me saying this too. They were like, "You can review this and take it down if you like to. This is kind of threatening." I'm like, "Well, what's the comment?" And the comment on it was you and I reviewing Exorcist, our out of theater reaction for that movie. But someone's comment says, "Man, fuck y'all. Y'all should kill yourself." And I'm like, "Noted." And he literally said, he goes, "I would never trust a review from these fuckers ever again. Fuck you guys. This movie was dog shit." And I'm laughing, dude. I'm having a good old time. I'm laughing my ass off.
It's not that serious, man. It's just a movie.
I'm laughing, dude. I'm like cracking up. So I'm like, it's just a movie. I'm like, are you seriously heated over the fucking Exorcist? Like,
that's
really?
Also, let's not forget that anytime we review something and we say our thoughts during and after, and at the end of the show, we always say this is our opinions. You guys might feel differently.
Yeah,
that's okay. How are you gonna bitch? If you're listening, fuck you. How about I can't say that.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop myself.
No. I was about to say the same thing he said.
Don't say that.
Exactly.
We can't start a riot right now.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say it jokingly, but I was like, that's still not good. We can't do that. So
appreciate you, Joe. Appreciate the self-restraint.
I
Thank
laughed,
you.
dude. I laughed 'cause I was like, again, like I said, me and Nick are in the minority that we like this movie a lot more than other people, and we acknowledge that too in our review. We 100% acknowledge that. But it was just funny. This guy was like really heated, and YouTube was like, "We're gonna take this down because of like threatening." I'm like, "You can leave it up if you want to," but YouTube took it down to like
Yeah,
just
leave
like
it up.
I said it was fine, but YouTube was like, we don't condone this like this language, and I was like, all right, it's it's your platform. Like I don't really care, but like got an email about it, was hilarious, and I read the review, I read the thing, and it made me laugh. I'm not gonna lie, it made me laugh. I was like, hey, what? It's our first death threat. We'll take it. We've been doing the show for almost a year now. That was our first real death threat.
Yeah.
I'll take it. You know what? Good bad press is still good press. You know what? You still
Yeah,
want the
you know
review,
what?
man.
You know what? Let me get a couple more of them real quick. Let me get about 3 more 445 of them real quick.
Again, if I was waiting to hear some more shit of like, oh man, like because again, like even though like Expendables 4 review or the erection, I was waiting for some like, man, fuck you guys, but like no, it was the Exorcist kind of our most controversial one, and I was like, you know what, I'll take it. No, the one I was definitely kind of worried about was Barbie. So I saw it with my mom, saw it with Zeta, and my mom was all like, I want to be in your reaction. I was like, sure, mom, of course you can. And Zeta was kind of like, well, yeah, we'll see. But we all did it together. And I was because as soon as I saw that movie at the screening, the next day article was like, this article was like, Barbie is like hates men, whatever. And I was like, well, in my review, I was pretty favorable. So I'm waiting for all the trolls to shit on me during this reaction. But surprisingly, no one like went after me for that one. And I was like, wow. I was kind of like, I was waiting for it. I was like, oh, here comes the people saying, give up your balls, like give your man card. I was totally waiting for it. Man. I was like, you know what? It's fine. Here it comes. But that was the one where nothing happened. I was kind of like, well, that's kind of a relief. I'll kind of take it. But
Hell
again,
yeah.
I never would have thought in a million years that The Exorcist is the one that we got our first death threat on.
For real, bro. That's kind of that is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It made me laugh.
That's
I'm not
wild,
gonna.
bro.
I'm like,
It's like,
again,
man, you're taking this extra serious, I guess.
yeah, and that was the one where I thought like we'd get the most views because again, it was a very quote unquote controversial, reaction because we were the only few critics that like enjoyed this movie. It seems like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as Joel said too. Joel said like, this is our review. This is our this is how we felt about these movies. You might feel differently, and that's totally fine. All film is subjective. That's the beauty of film that we can disagree on things. And we with the agree on everything, which is fine. Again, we know people that we went to college with, people that we grew up with that like, you like this movie, and we're like, yeah. They go, oh, I could ever. And I'm like, okay, well, sucks to be you, man. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's sucks to suck. But no, I laughed at that. But again, I laughed this morning when I saw go over our analytics, and I saw our most viewed and most liked video is the Expendables 4 reaction to a pretty shitty movie. To a pretty shitty movie, and I was like, all right, a win is a win, right?
I felt like a lot of people agree.
Yeah, because it was fun. Because like me and Nick were definitely laughing in that review. Because again, we just came off of like doing our first one, and the guy put his baby in it, and we're still talking to him while we're recording. And me and Nick were like, "Yep, can't put that one up on the YouTubes." And we did it again, but like we were still laughing about like what happened in the movie, how bad it was, and like what has happened to us. So it was kind of like we were definitely in a kind of funnier mood, but like never would have thought that would be like our most viewed reaction. But hey, what to each their own, right? To each their own. And so I was talking to a guy last night. Our friend Nick, Big Ben. We met at
Oh yeah.
It was good. He's a good dude. He's a really solid dude. I was talking to him last night at that screening I went to, and I was talking to him about some stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, got our first death threat." And he started laughing out loud. He goes, "Hey, man, that means you made it." And I was like, "Appreciate it." I was like, "I appreciate the praise, man. I appreciate the praise." And we were talking about stuff too, him and I last night. I was like, "Yeah," because we're talking about like I'm not gonna mention who, but like gatekeeping within like critic stuff. And I was like, "Yeah," he had a similar situation that we went through, this summer with who I'm not gonna mention. And I was like, I was texting Joel and like, bro, get this company that gatekeep us also covers Chicago, and all caps Joel goes, "What the fuck?"
Dude, I was so upset. I was like, really? What the fuck?
And
So
I was
I
like,
was like,
yeah, it was wild, right? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It was just funny. But we're talking about like critics in general and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm not gonna mention any names, but it was funny last night. Like we were because it was a press only thing for the movie I saw for the holdovers. And I'm talking to people here and there, and there's one person I'm not gonna mention who I think I mentioned to you guys off air at one time. I think I pointed him out to you at the last screening we went to, Nick. That's one guy, and friendly enough. I'm talking to everyone, like talking to like, hey, yeah, how's it going? Da, da, da. And Ben, I'm talking to like this one critic walks by Ben and I, and Ben and I were like, Ben was like, how's it going, man? Like, how are you? And the guy turns and goes, can I help you? With an attitude. I was like,
Damn.
dude, I was in a good mood. I was kind of happy seeing everybody. I saw Lee, our PR rep, whatever. I love Lee a lot. I love talking to her. Like, I was in a good mood, but like this one guy literally had like an attitude, and I was like, I want to be like, yeah, bro, what's your fucking problem? But I was like, you know what? It's a movie. We're in a theater. Let's be civil. It's movie Wednesday. We gotta like good vibes. But I laughed, and me and Ben started laughing. We were just like, okay, whatever. But he's thrown.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, bro, relax.
Because it was like we met at the I think the Exorcist screening. Like you said that you went to that like networking event. Remember, and the guy was like being like hella sus with you.
Yeah, I was just trying to be like friend. I was like, hey man, what's up? He's like, okay. I was like, all right, bro, what the hell? It was just
Like,
so fucking awkward.
dude.
He looked so pissed when I walked up. I'm like, damn, this is why I don't talk to people.
Joe, have you ever had an experience like that? No, I know back in Chicago we had that one guy, that one white dude with the long ponytail who used to cut lines all the time at the screenings.
bro, I hated this dude. We would keep a lookout, right? So here's the thing: we would be like towards the front of the line, right? And somehow this dickhead, right, always came and then would start talking to people and then get in front of us, and we'd be pissed because it's just like this dude's coming right when the fucking line's about to start going inside. So it's just like it was so aggravating. Like we would be like he was the worst ever because he would fake friendly talk to people to get in front of everyone else and not have to wait in line. Like I was there for like 2-3 hours before this dude comes like last 20 minutes and just and then just gets in front without even trying. I'm just like, I fucking hated this dude.
Like I'm telling you, Nick, he would literally kind of like like chit chat, kind of like make small talk, and like people didn't realize like he was like literally cutting in line, like in the GA line for these screenings, and like he'd be like, yeah, it's crazy, like yeah, you can, and he always wore like the same like black like free screening shirt and a hat. And me and Joe were like, I think TJ was like, I think he's homeless, and I was like, no, I don't, maybe he could be, but like he would definitely like smooth talk you to like cut in line. And there's times where like we'll be in line with like me and Joe, some other friends of us, for a couple hours, and we'd be like talking, and then like, wait, how the fuck did you get in the front of the line? We're like, how the hell? Like he's kind of like this magic trick of him like kind of like worming the line to the front, and I was like, what in the hell? But yeah, no, like what Joe said too. Joe was saying like, we would in our group chat, whatever, we'd be like, ponytails here, shit. And I was like, don't let him cut in line, don't let him cut in line. Because he would just do it.
I mean, you gotta
no
respect
remorse.
the hustle though, low key.
True, definitely true. I respect again. That's yeah, definitely for a movie, man. I mean, good for him. But it was funny, or like even when I moved,
like, you kind of fucking everyone else over though.
oh, you do
by
know
doing it.
There was times where like he would cut. Oh no, I think what Joe said too. Like he would cut in line, and like he'd be like, "Oh, my boys were here," and he would like have his boys cut in line too. And we were like,
"Oh my
remember that?
God.
Happened at Deadpool, the first Deadpool for sure. Happened a couple of times.
One of the biggest groups ever too. He had like 6-7 people with him.
Damn.
We were pissed. Yeah, they pushed the line so far back. We were not happy. We almost didn't get in that day too because we were towards the back because I think that was the time TJ got in line for us, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get food." We're like, "No, don't leave." And then he
His
left.
ponytail, ponytail was there.
And so I arrived. I had to leave early, by the way, because TJ left. Because he was like, "Oh, we'll go get food." We were like, "TJ should have got stuff. Just wait until I'm there." He didn't. So we were farther back in line, and so and then so we were like, "Fuck, whatever." We're still in a good spot. And then ponytail dude showed up with his fucking big ass group and cut in line, and fuck, dude, I was pissed. But we almost didn't make it that day because of that dickhead.
Dude,
But
go
what
ahead.
were you gonna say?
No,
You go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I insist you
Uh,
first.
I was it? Oh yeah, it felt good though later on because I got to do the same thing to him because he was further back in line, and I made friends with like people that went to pre-screenings all the time, so I would always see them. So whenever you know I was in front or they were in front, fucking just cut. Be like, they didn't talk to the long ponytail dude either, so it was always good. And then one time it was just like a giant group. Like one of the people, they were like, "Oh, I got a group myself," and so I was like, "Yeah, sure, fucking come in." Fucking pushed him far back. Sadly, he made it, but I was like, "Oh, revenge, bitch."
It's fun. It's fun. Like I said, already mentioned a few weeks ago at our Expendables thing when we got there, we're part of the press, and the guy who told me and Nick, he was like, "Back of the line, back of the line," and I was like, "Okay, bro, chill. It's Expendables, chill, my guy. Not that serious, not that serious." And he's probably the same guy that told us to go kill ourselves in our Exorcist review.
Damn, I wouldn't be surprised.
Full circle. Full circle is a real villain, but dude, that Pointsell guy was like a bane of our existence at times. We were like, dude, like shit, like it's gonna ruin the experience for all. It's gonna cut in line, but good times. You know what I did see actually over the weekend? I was kind of surprised. I'm kind of glad I did. Is the Taylor Swift Eras Tour concert movie. Um, and because Zato and her friends went to go, they went to go see it, the actual concert, months ago, and they spent good money on it. Um, so I was kind of like, I'm kind of curious. Also we live by a movie theater now, so I'm kind of like, we can just walk to the theater and go see it. So like her and her friend and I went like Sunday morning. And I was hearing things of like, oh my gosh, this is like end game level craziness. People are going up in their seats, like cheering. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's a concert movie. I would expect to like, yeah, it's the the experience of like seeing a concert movie like on the big screen. And also, it's my joke was like, this is for the people that couldn't afford tickets to the concert.
Damn.
I was like, you couldn't afford those expensive nosebleeds or resale. So for $20, you can see it on the big screen. And I'm like, that's I guess that's fair. I mean, if you missed out on it, like go see it. But um, anyway, but yeah, so we went on like Sunday morning or whatever, and like I said, like we live by a theater now, and like it's the theater we go to by us is like it's the only Regal in Arizona, and so it was like no one goes there, which is nice, kind of like our own private theater, which I love going there a lot. It's like no one goes there but me and my family and some of our friends, but and I was hearing things. Oh, this is gonna be sold out all weekend. This is gonna be crazy. Got there on Sunday morning. There was like no, it was like nobody there. There was like nobody there. Either they all saw it on Thursday or Friday or Saturday, and no one went Sunday. Because we walked in, and also I was kind of surprised. Like it's like a 14 auditorium theater. I want to say like 8 or 9 of them were just Taylor Swift theaters only. Like everything got pushed out. Like no Saw, no Creator, no Exorcist. Oh no, Exorcist was there, but like nothing else. And I was like, damn, this movie theater is owned by Taylor Swift because it's only just our like wing of auditoriums was Taylor Swift Eras Tour, Eras Tour, Eras Tour, Eras Tour. And I was like, God damn. Um, but tell you what, I mean, I'll do a quick review about this. I thought it was pretty good actually. You know what? I didn't know what to expect, so I'm like, yeah, it's a concert movie. I'm watching like a recorded version of the show that I wasn't there for on the big screen. And I'll tell you what, for a concert movie, I thought the production was really good. The production was really good. It was very cinematic. Like it really felt like I was watching like an actual movie at times. I was like, oh, whatever cameras they use, whatever like sound design they use, I thought like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I was like, all right, I'm with it. It's 3 hours long, and you kind of feel the 3 hours too. Even I was kind of like, yo, this is a concert movie. I'm kind of dozing off at the end. I was like, all right, let's. I'm in it. I'm going to sleep. I'm kind of dozing off, but it was definitely definitely cool experience to kind of like just like see what Zeta and like so many other people did this past year. See this in in person, but like I was talking to her and her friend, and they were saying like it was cool for them because even though they were there, they were to the side, so like seeing it on the big screen, they kind of saw like more of what they missed, like front and center, because the camera's like on her and her dancers and her production design like entirely the whole movie. So they were saying like, yeah, it was cool seeing a different angle of it because we didn't get to see that because we were kind of like off to the side to the left of the stage, and I was like, that's kind of smart then. So if you were like in the nosebleeds at a show and you couldn't see shit, only like on the big jumbo screens at the arenas or stadiums, you couldn't really see shit. I guess it's kind of a cool way to kind of like see what you quote unquote missed because you were kind of far away. But also it made a shit ton of money, and from what I heard too, it already made more money than Blue Beetle did in his entire run of theatrical.
That's not even that difficult. Um,
And I'm like, I heard it might even outpace Black Adam. I'm like, damn, Rock, you got nothing right now, bro. Sorry, homie. I was like, damn, like it had like almost $100 million opening weekend. I don't think it'd be Joker. I think Joker still is like the biggest October opening, but like it made so much more money than movies that we all loved, like collectively. And I'm just like, this movie cost them like 10 mil. This is probably like her allowance for her week. And this movie over like made its budget back in like a day, which is crazy. But I was saying, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go.
Oh, I said you first. No, I said you first.
Okay. Well, I saw this little article / video. I didn't completely watch it. I was on TikTok actually. I was going through TikTok and I saw a thing that said a bunch of girls turn the Taylor Swift movie into a concert. And basically, they were all standing up, singing and together and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking, like, you're very lucky that didn't happen to you. Like, I'm sure people were singing, but like, not like a bunch of teenage and adult women acting like it's a live concert.
I'll tell you what, actually, I kind of wanted that experience, actually. I kind of wanted that.
Really?
And I did. You know why? Because here, I'll tell you why. Because I've been to opening nights with Nick a lot in college. Some stuff from Endgame to Infinity War to No Way Home, and I remember going to see Black Panther opening night with Moses. Like I remember seeing Infinity War with Nick and Moses, and like everyone was cheering, people were going crazy, like oh my gosh. Endgame wasn't as crazy. I remember after we saw the movie, Moses was like, "Man, our crowd sucked." But still, even Endgame, like people were going nuts when people walked through the portals. It was crazy when like they saw like all this kind of like reveal stuff like that. The time travel stuff. And to me, I was like, oh my gosh, even No Way Home, like I was one of those clowns. I was like, oh my God, I remember I was grabbing Nick's hand and Zeta's hand. I was like, it's happening, guys, it's happening. I was kind of like a kid again. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So I was kind of hoping I got the same experience with the Taylor Swift movie. Cause I was like, you know what? I kind of want that because it became more lively, kind of like being an actual concert. And I'll tell you what, this is the one time I was kind of like, oh, good in the theaters. The theaters were actually kind of supporting that behavior. They were like, go crazy, make some friends, go, sing along, whatever. Because it's definitely, I feel like, because like I said, it's the people that couldn't afford tickets. I mean, rightfully so. They were super expensive. Ticketmaster was kind of upselling them for like so much money on resale. This was for the people that couldn't afford going to the concert. So, or even if they did, they want to experience, this $2 billion tour together again with everybody. So this was kind of the closest thing they had to this experience. So the theaters were like, yeah, take out your phones, go crazy, dance, obviously. And so to me, lots of the video stuff like that, I was kind of like, that's kind of cool because I think it was kind of also people are in the theater. One, I'll take that. That's a win. A win is a win. That's a huge win for the theatrical business. And B, I'm like, you know what? I feel like we don't have that experience anymore as much anymore, except for maybe for like an Endgame or Infinity War or No Way Home. Maybe Top Gun was kind of close to that. I wouldn't say that much. But in the past year, like we haven't, in the past year and a half, I would say like there's no movie that kind of like brought so many people together for this moment. Like, Avatar came out and it was kind of like, cool, Avatar came out and that was it. Like it made money kind of very quietly, but it was like, okay. So it was like, there hasn't been kind of like a really big theatrical event like this in a long time. Like, Indy couldn't do it. Flash couldn't do it. I would say Barbie made the next. I think Barbie's probably. Well, I take that back. I think Barbie was a huge moment too. So I remember at the Barbie screening, we had to wait 25 minutes to get into the door, and we had assigned seats for the screening. Like, we were on the list, and it was like we still had to wait 25 minutes outside in the heat to get in to get our seats, and we had assigned seating for our screening. And I was like, this is crazy. And they're turning people away, stuff like that. So yeah, I think Barbie was kind of the closest thing that we've had. Like Oppenheimer definitely had a huge moment too. I mean, people were going crazy on Oppenheimer. Don't get me wrong, but people were kind of in that kind of moment. So to me, it was definitely, yeah. I kind of wish I had that experience because when we went on Sunday morning, it was me, Z, her friend Marie, and like two other people, and that was it. And the only people that were singing were Zeta and her friend and Marie. No one else was singing, so it was like I kind of wanted to experience like the craziness. But again, where our theater is too, our theater next to our apartment, no one really goes there, so it's kind of like more convenient than like I guess like experience. But my mom went on Friday, and she was saying that shit was a madhouse. And God bless my mom, and she was like, I don't mean like two of her songs. I don't know. And she was saying people were going nuts. They were buying the friendship bracelets and everything. And I was kind of like, so yeah, from what I heard firsthand from my mom, she was saying like it was like an experience. Like people were going nuts. They were on their seats like going crazy. So I'm like, hey, teach their own, right? If that's something for you, that's awesome. But to your point though, I know people were kind of complaining about it. They're kind of like, man, like this is so obnoxious. And I'm like, yeah, but also if you don't know Swifties and her fan base, what'd you expect? This ain't no church, quiet church Sunday. So I don't know. So anyway, I had a good time with it. I give her props for not going through the studio system. What I heard too is that like she approached studios and they were saying like we want to do this, that, whatever, and then she would have lost a lot of money because studios wanted more return from her. And from what I heard too was that she met with like every single studio, everybody, Universal, Paramount, Warner, Disney, streamings, like everybody. And from what I heard, this is true, smart on her. From what I heard from like the people I work with, people that work in the industry, was saying that she basically took those meetings to get free advice and not work with them. That's kind of baller if you ask me. I don't know. Like it's kind of like to have all these meetings, to have all these kind of like like talk these like yeah, like I'm doing this concert movie. Like what do you expect? And she got free advice from everybody. And she goes, I'm doing it on myself to the theaters. So
Yeah.
that's pretty baller. And that's pretty baller. And even Christopher Nolan today was like, I applaud that. And I was like, damn. Like, and he even said in an article, I think it was on Variety, Chris Nolan was all like, good for her. Yeah, good for her, because that shit kind of will help theaters out a lot. And I was like, damn. And I think Beyonce's doing the same thing in December with her movie as well. With her concert movie. So also given the strike, I mean strikes are going on obviously, but like given the strike, I mean, we're gonna be hurting for movies because I'm hearing more things are being pushed back. Excuse me, because of like the ongoing strike. So in a way, why not? You have all those footage filmed already that you're on tour already. You edit it, sound mix it, everything great, good to go. Put out for 10 mil, and you made the money back in a day showing. That's pretty baller. So I give him props, man. I give him props for doing that. I think it was definitely an experiment. I mean, I don't know about you boys, but the last movie I saw as a concert movie was Justin Bieber, Never Say Never, in 2011 with my brother.
Oh
And that
my
was that experience.
god.
Remember that, Joe?
Dude, I
I
didn't
remember
go
all
to
that.
theaters. I didn't go to theaters. Thank fuck. I did not like Justin Bieber back then.
You weren't a
I'm not
believer?
saying, I'm gonna punch you the next time I see you for that shit. But my mom and my sisters loved Justin Bieber. So for a while,
Mm-mm.
when it came out on DVD, that's all I fucking heard in my fucking house was that stupid ass concert movie, and I hated it. They had the glasses.
The
They were
purple
so
glasses.
excited, dude. I was annoyed. I was like, fucking, I hated this. I like Justin Bieber now. He's talented. I never deny that. I think he's talented. I just didn't like his music back then. He's better now. But you know that it was almost as bad as like my nieces watching Frozen. They, for some reason, in my family, they love things that I hate. so, so yeah, but no, that was all over the news. I was so happy I didn't go because like just a bunch of girls at that time, my age, which
Screaming.
was young, screaming and crying and
Like he was
just be
there.
like, "Oh my god!" I would have fucking shot myself.
Wait,
In
Nick,
game, in a video game, I would have shot myself. Just, PG
I was
rise
about to
side.
say, yo.
yeah, keep it safe. Keep it safe.
Keep it safe for now.
Wait, was that a big thing at your school, Nick? Like, all the girls go to the Bieber movie? Was that like an event at your school? Because it was at ours. It was at our school.
Dude, the girls
I
were
remember
going crazy for it.
I remember like junior high, it was Justin Bieber and that Call Me Maybe song. That was a
Oh my
huge thing. Like
god!
this, bro, I was walking into like my fifth period history class or something like that, and one of my classmates, she just ran up to me from a distance, looked like a shot from Get Out, runs up to me and stops right in front of me, and then just starts singing the song. She's like, da, da. I don't know the song, the lyrics, but just looked me dead in my eye, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What is this? Like, I was like, what is this? She's like, and then she would just like start all like, what the fuck kind of Twilight Zone bullshit is this,
That's
man?
why.
Bro, it was insane. I was like, you need to leave me alone because all you doing is singing that damn song. Like, she wouldn't talk anymore. It was bizarre.
Just leave me alone. Leave me alone.
For real. Had me going
Ironic,
crazy, man. I'm all like 13 years old.
Ironically, I was okay with One Direction and the Jonas Brothers. Whenever people were going crazy for them, I was like, that's understandable. Because not
Didn't they
gonna
have a
lie,
movie
like,
too?
yeah,
Oh my
I don't
god!
think the Jonas Brothers, but One Direction did.
Yes, bro.
The
Okay,
Jonas
right now.
Brothers had Camp Rock.
No, they had Jonas Brothers had a 3D concert experience as well. Had a
Oh
volleyball in
yeah.
3D back then too. This movie is a 1.5 on IMDb. That's hilarious.
Dang.
Oh my god!
But look, I had no problem with people going crazy for One Direction and the Jonas Brothers because I'm not gonna lie, I listened to their shit back then, and I still do now. They're good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Why were all these movies in 3D? The One Direction was in 3D. The
Because
Bieber was 3D. Jonas Bros 3D.
I
What the
remember
hell?
3D was
like,
just kind of like a big thing back then.
True. You're
yeah,
right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
so like what we were talking about before, the podcast we're talking about, like zombies and vampires, like 3D at one point was that thing. Everyone tried it. And that there was a lot of shitty films that we have probably forgotten about that
Bro,
just were in 3D because that was the thing. Everyone wanted to see it 3D, like especially kids. Like when we were younger and our parents were like, "We're going to see a 3D movie," we went fucking nuts because it was like, oh, like Spy Kids. Spy Kids did 3D and that did really well, and like all this other shit. I forget Spy Kids did 3D until I watched
they're
the movie
one of the
again.
first ones. They're one of the first ones to do 3D narratively.
Yeah. Do you guys ever rewatch that movie and be like, oh, yeah,
Okay.
because you see them do like certain things where you're just like, that was because it was in 3D. I'm not going to watch this in 3D now, but.
Okay. Funny right now that I actually did a whole Spy Kids trilogy rewatch recently. I'm not even shitting you. That's hilarious. I was so bored one day. I was like, after we moved into our new place, and I was like, I'm tired, man. I don't watch anything. And I'm putting on like, I don't know, was it? I forgot what I was watching. It was a Paramount's whatever, and it was like nearly out of Spy Kids, and I was like, do they have all three? And they did. I was like,
Hmm.
all right, here we go. And I literally watched all three of them like randomly one night. And I was like, man, this is bringing me back to the good old days, you know, like the rocket boots and like the spy
Damn.
gadgets, whatever. Um,
I was about
and I
to say,
was
how was it, man?
it was weird, dude. It was like a fever dream almost because I was like, yo, this is so weird. This is tripping me out because I'm like, yo, like these were a big part of my childhood. I would assume maybe you guys too. Like these movies were like the shit back then. Like, um, Robert Rodriguez is doing it. Like even Richard Linklater, one of my favorite actors, the cameos in these movies. I was like, what the hell? Like this is so bizarre. But I remember watching the 3D with my dad growing up. That was in theater. That was crazy. But what's funny though is that me and Z went to like a used bookstore about a few weeks ago, right? And sure enough, on the DVD stand, the DVDs there too, it was Spy Kids 3D, the DVD version. I opened it up, and they had like the OG glasses in there too, and I was like, "Yeah, that's a trip." I'm like, "Oh
Ooh.
my goodness," because I was like, I had the same glasses, and from the theater, from the DVD.
Mhm.
Um, but I haven't watched any of the new ones personally, and I reviewed a movie from Rodriguez a month ago, and it was pretty bad. So I was like, this guy was a big part of my childhood, but like now it's kind of like, what are you doing, bro? Like what happened? Love the guy.
For real, bro. 'Cause-
He's an innovator. He's an innovator with filmmaking. I give him.
Yeah.
He's a self-made dude. I respect the hell out of Rob Rodriguez. But recently, I'm like, bro, what you been on, bro? Like, I was I was telling this to Joe. Like, someone was like on Twitter was like it was like uh someone said the Hispanics Black Panther is machete.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Bunch of Joe. Joe laughing. He's
Okay,
like,
wow.
that's funny, but fuck y'all.
Yeah,
That's
for
ridiculous.
real. Because
Can I
it
believe
was,
that?
dude. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Funny that you bring up. I brought up Spy Kids. Funny that Spy Kids has been brought up because TikTok has been going crazy about the one scene of Steve Buscemi talking about the whole God thing. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we get it, dude. They were like that was everywhere in TikTok and Instagram. I was just like, we get it. That's some deep shit. Move on. like I love the movie. I love that scene with Steve Buscemi. I even loved it back then, as a kid, because that was, I don't know, I paid attention to that. But like I have this problem of just like how we point things out that, was very noticeable from back then to where it just becomes overplayed, especially in film. We watch things when we rewatch things and things just get way too overplayed to, where, how can I explain this? It's fun to go back and watch things and find all the adult jokes and like the things we didn't know as a kid. But when it's everywhere and everyone's talking about it and it's just like staying longer than it should, it sort of takes the fun out of it, if that makes sense.
It's yeah, that also I think it's the new generation discovering this too. Now they're kind of like everyone's watching it. Again, it's the King of Queens thing. We all grew up, well, I think all of us grew up watching King of Queens and that
Fuck
fucking
yeah,
meme
dude. I love that show.
and that meme going around, and now everyone's watching King of Queens, including me. I'm like, I've seen the show in years. I'm watching it now on Peacock because I was like, you know what? Fuck it, why not? Like, it's there. I might as well watch it. It's like it's a resurgence of the most randomest stuff. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's it's funny. And like I said, at least about the 3D thing, you're right. I mean, look right now. There was a Glee 3D concert movie. Kitty Perry had one.
Oh, there's a Glee one?
Yeah,
Dude,
the
that passed
Glee.
by me. I didn't know about that one.
One Direction had a one 3D one. Hannah Montana had one. Bieber had one, like I said. Metallica had an IMAX 3D one. Like what the hell? Metallica had one.
Metallica? Dude, I would have loved that. What the fuck?
Yeah, Metallica had an IMAX 3D one.
That was probably dope as fuck.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's crazy. But again, I digress. I digress. So speaking of like Rodriguez, actually directors, I want to ask this question to you guys. I mean, we've seen a lot. I mean, even given a few weeks ago when we saw Exorcist, we talked about a little bit then was, you know, there's been a lot of directors like kind of changing like quote unquote of like the status quo, of like changing genres. I think we're all like, I think we're all, as writers, filmmakers ourselves, like, I definitely think like it's definitely cool to see filmmakers kind of like, not jump ship, but kind of like it's kind of cool to see like them um take on different, genres. And I can think of Dan McBride, David Gordon Green, obviously doing that. I can think of also Jordan Peele, obviously, comedy to horror, stuff like that. So, Nick, I'm starting with you actually. So, like I said, it's. I think we've seen a lot of filmmakers a couple of years, like, kind of like change what they're kind of used to become, working in different genres. Who, to you as filmmakers, have stuck out the most of directors that kind of like change genres with their or what or kind of what we're used to seeing them as, like who kind of like comes to mind when you think of that?
Well, technically, like a director that switched genres because he's directed this genre, but uh, I will say like a person who I'm gonna say Jordan Peele because he started off in comedy with like Mad TV and Key and Peele, and he was he was known for being funny. So then when he did Get Out, like that was a huge shock.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was insane, man. Like I saw the trailer. Well, first off, when I heard that he was directing, I was like, okay, I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm kind of like the dude from Key and Peele projecting a horror movie, okay? Because also I think it's kind of like, I had this kind of naive notion in my head at the time, like, um, an actor first time directing is probably not going to be that good, and I've since grown from that, but yeah, like when he so when I saw Get Out, I was like, yo, this brother knows what he's doing, man. Like, it was like, wow. So he definitely made that switch, and not just successfully, but genuinely well. And we've seen his kind of filmmaking style just like grow and mature and evolve so much, man. Like Nope was incredible.
Yeah, he's becoming more like an event filmmaker. Where like when you see a movie, like how like Get Out was a moment. Us was also a moment
Yeah,
too, and then Nope also was another
yeah,
moment of like he's really becoming an event director of like, oh, I'm seeing a new Jordan Peele movie, I'm seeing a new Tarantino movie, where it's like Peele has that kind of like pull now. So also, I'm gonna ask you this too:
hmm.
who's a filmmaker that you admire or you like to watch that you want to see them kind of like change direction, change genres?
You know what? I would love to see. I would love to see Zack Snyder take take a whack at trying to do like the old Universal monster movies like
Ooh.
Dracula, Frankenstein. I feel like his style would really kind of lend itself well to horror,
Yeah,
and especially kind of doing like a new modern contemporary kind of revamp of those classic monsters, and the whole shared universe thing and da 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 da. I think he would kill it.
that would be cool, especially how he managed Shaun of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Army of the
Yeah,
Dead
and
like
Army of the Dead
incredibly
too.
well. Do you think there's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I know they scrapped that after the Mummy flopped pretty badly, unfortunately. Well, that movie kind of sucked. Um, uh, do you think that if Universal were to do that, like Dark Universe, they think they would approach him to do a movie?
I think they'd approach him. I don't know. I think
That'd
I
be
kind
cool.
of think if Rebel Moon does well, then something like that would be more likely to happen.
Mm, okay.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's gonna kind of depend because I think I think he would do well, but also I feel like he seems still to be like a kind of slightly controversial figure in the industry right now. But again, like I said, if his new Rebel Moon movies succeed, then maybe it's like the other studios will be like, oh, you know what? I think I can fuck with this guy just a little bit more.
I yeah, I think Rebel Moon is going to do really well. I think it's going to be like a really big event for movie fans, but also Netflix. But I might rewatch Army of the Dead because it's spooky season. Because I remember seeing that with you and Hamza, and I was like, this shit was good. This shit was really
Yeah,
good.
that shit fucking flop. That shit was really good.
And the scope of
Mhm.
that, I'm like, yo, he could totally do something within horror again. And it was kind of cool going back to his roots because I think like really, Dawn of the Dead remake is one of the best remakes ever, if you ask me. And
Hmm.
also too the way he able to capture kind of just like really good like characters in both of his zombie movies. Like he could do something really cool, even with Blumhouse. If Blumhouse he wanted to become more of a smaller scale kind of movie, goes back to that kind of thing. He could do something really cool, like something with Frankenstein or the Wolfman would be kind of cool because also he has experience working with like creatures and stuff like that. Um, that'd be cool actually. I would love if Universal ever does the Dark Universe again after it flopping once before. I would think they would approach him just because of like, hey, why not? Like he's a film again, controversial, but like at the same time, like I think it'd be kind of cool to like experiment with kind of like his take on um like a Dracula or Frankenstein or a mummy even.
Mhm.
Like
Oh, that would be
it's
dope.
I don't know. He has the adventure genre down really well. Like I said, with the last few movies and Rebel Moon does well. I think like, hey, you know what? Let's bring him on. But I think right now, I think he's happy with his nest at Netflix right now. So it would be
Yeah.
you never know. You never know.
Slightly tangential.
Good.
What if Snyder did a Blade movie? That would be kind of dope.
That would be a big fuck you to DC, and I would be for it. I would be for it, but at the same time, I told this to you, I think to Joe last time to you after Exorcist was that I would want him to do a rated R version of Blade, and we all know Disney's
Oh
like,
yeah,
no,
for
fuck that,
sure.
we're doing PG-13, you're gonna like it, and we all said, oh no 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 no
Nah, you
no.
gotta start doing some R-rated stuff, man. If you can do Deadpool R-rated, you can do some other stuff R-rated.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You can. It's you have the properties. Just do it. I'll put it on Hulu, stuff like that. I mean, I want to see it theatrically, obviously, but if you want to do it more quote unquote adult, you have Hulu for a reason. Fuck it. It's you had that for a reason for your more adult content. But I don't know. All right, Joe, you're up, my friend. So, who's a filmmaker that you can think of like, well, first like has kind of like impressed you that has changed genres as a filmmaker?
Mm, that is, I've been trying to think about it, and like looking into it. I really don't know because I'm not the person that looks at directors when I'm looking at movies. I'm just like, what movie looks interesting to me. I'm never about like the details of things, I guess you could say. Um, if I had to pick one, I would pick James Wan
Ooh, interesting.
because he did Aquaman, he did Furious 7, but he's known for Insidious, The Conjuring 2, horror films. So, to go into those things and do really well, with not really having anything prior for those type of movies, I'd say he sticks out pretty well for me, because he did well. Even though people didn't like him, those movies weren't shit, unlike a lot of other people who have tried and completely just bombed, I would say.
Oh, definitely. It's easy to like really just like change genres, excuse me, and be like, yeah. I mean, it happens a lot. People do change genres or try different genres in their filmmaking, filmography, and then they're like, yeah, nope, it didn't work. Is there someone in mind that you like as a filmmaker that you want to see do a different genre that they're used to?
John Krasinski.
Okay.
I would like to see him do a sci-fi fantasy movie
Ah,
with a little
interesting.
bit of thriller and suspense put into it.
Okay.
Because the thing about John Krasinski that I love him as a director is that he focuses on detail. He
Hmm.
focuses on detail, and you can see it in A Quiet Place. You can see it when he does, his shows and anything he does. Like with A Quiet Place, like he did something new in, well, I don't know new, but he did something that a lot of people don't do, which is when they showed the daughter's point of view, the sound was cut off. There was no sound because she's deaf. So they did that, and he focuses on detail so much for stories and characters that he'll recall it later on in the film or the show, and that's just very important in film to me because I do care about details because I hate when movies are just point out this one thing that you think is important and then never brought up again. You know what I mean? Where it's
Hmm.
just like, what was the point of that then? Like what was the point of this one little scene? Like, a character runs off to do something important. That character doesn't exist anymore. I've seen that so many times where it's just like, all right, fuck me, I guess. But with John Krasinski, like when I watch his stuff, it just feels like everything has a purpose. And I really do love that. So I would love to see him do, fantasy and sci-fi, something like cyberpunk
That'll be cool.
or D&D like lore type or even Star Wars. If he did Star Wars, oh my God, I would die happy. So I would love to see him get into that field because he did really well with his action movies and did really well with, A Quiet Place. So to see him, get into these things that I truly love because I'm a giant nerd. Fantasy and sci-fi are the books I read and games I play and all that. So I would love to see him get into it.
He was still my choice to direct Fantastic Four. Like he was. I know he's not doing. I mean, we don't know who's part of that cast anymore. But
Hmm.
I thought again. I bring up briefly a little bit of a tangent. I really thought that hey, you know what? This guy has done really great work with Quiet Place. A lot of good indie movies before he did. Quiet Place was a filmmaker, also was a writer. And I was like, damn, if Kevin Feige and Marvel would be like, hey, look at this guy. Everyone loves him. He also did some episodes of The Office that he directed as well. Let's have this guy be our Reed Richards and our director. But even then, I was like, hey, even if he's not in the movie, I think he'd make a really cool Fantastic Four movie as a filmmaker. And that didn't happen, obviously. They had John Watts originally, and then John Watts left, and then Matt Shankman's doing it. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm still curious about it. But I was really hoping during COVID, I was like, oh man, like he's my kind of like my fan casting obviously for Mr. Fantastic. I'm like, yo, if the guy was a filmmaker and an actor, that would be Marvel's first thing as like hiring an actor director for the first time because no other. I mean, Paul Rudd wrote the first two Ant-Man movies and also starred in them, but he didn't direct them. He didn't direct them, so I'm like, it just would have been cool to have like first time have a filmmaker also be your main actor in a huge superhero movie. Because yeah, Ryan Reynolds also produces and writes Deadpool. It would have been kind of cool to see that as well. But it
Hmm.
is it is what it is. So yeah, again, I would love to see Krasinski do something like that too. That would be really cool. Kind of like change it up. Um, I don't know. I was kind of I gotta give a shout out definitely to David Gordon Green. Again, I think people don't like his Exorcist, unfortunately, and as well as the last two Halloween movies. I personally do. I think it was really cool seeing him, Danny McBride, kind of like really shift gears because they're known for their for comedy stuff of like Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, Gemstones, Pineapple Express, Your Highness, stuff like that. So I get shout out to them. But yeah, there's a lot of filmmakers that I will do my research. And I was like, man, they did a great job, of kind of like changing kind of like the status quo and changing what like we're used to them seeing. Um, but I was also kind of blanking on it too. But someone who I really admire, I think, I mean, they're similar in his way, but Edgar Wright to me is a really cool an example of an outlier, like you said, Nick, very controversial in a good way, that he's making like different movies that like not kind of like quote unquote as mainstream, like stuff from Shaun of the Dead to Hot Fuzz to World's End to Baby Driver, Scott Pilgrim, then to Last Night in Soho. It was really cool to see like his shift from those movies to Last Night in Soho, because I was like, it's still an Edgar Wright movie, but this was different. Like this was so different. I saw it on Halloween a few years ago, and I'm glad I did, because I'm like, hey, this is an original movie I support in theaters. But like, it was really cool to see him like kind of like dial like the like his kind of like like quick cuts and stuff like that, like in like the Cornetto trilogy and Scott Pilgrim took a more like horror, darker thriller movie, and I was like, yeah, that was really cool. So that was my example, but I would think he's kind of like genre bending, kind of doing different stuff, because it's really cool to see him kind of like in different wheelhouses. So again, that was, you're right, to me, is one of the guys that stand out to me the most. But someone who I would love to see change, change genres. I got a bunch of them, but one I think that would stick out to me the most. I did think of James Wan as well, Joe. I was like, what, James Wan could definitely do like a more like a satire, kind of a comedy kind of thing, like do more comedy satire, get away from horror or superhero, whatever. I would definitely. It's tough. I would like to see Tarantino do a sci-fi movie too. I'm a big Tarantino fan, right? Like there were Star Trek rumors years ago.
A Star Trek movie.
That's right. Yeah, a few years ago. And I was kind of like, I remember some Star Trek fans were like, "Fuck no, hell no, absolutely not." I'm like, why not? Like, I would love to see.
I'm all for it.
I would love to see that in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? So, I know he's doing his one last movie, or so he says. It would be really cool to see Tarantino take on like a sci-fi movie, like something like really, because he did that stuff with, like he did kind of like a revenge story, like Kill Bill, but in space, or like a sci-fi western, like a Django / Hateful Eight, but in space too. That would be really cool, because like it's endless possibilities.
That would be dope.
Like you bring back Sam Jackson, you bring back Jamie Foxx, you bring back some new talent. I mean, I want Tom Hardy to be in a Tarantino movie one day too. It'd be kind of cool. Like I would love to see. I would love to see kind of like new talent as well with him. But he would break. If you do a sci-fi movie, I want to bring back people he's worked with before in the past, obviously, and some new talent as well, like he did with Margot Robbie and Austin Butler and Hollywood. So it would be really cool to see what he did with like a sci-fi or like a dystopian kind of movie, or like sci-fi apocalyptic, or even in space. Like I'm all for it. So again, if he does more movies after his 10th movie, if that happens, I would love for him to do the whole go out full out sci-fi, go full Tarantino sci-fi, something crazy. Even if it's Star Trek, I still want to see that. That's still on the table. So that would be cool. But a boy can dream, right? I mean, a boy can dream. So yeah, you never know. You never know what like I don't know what like could happen, but I would hope so. But yeah. So yeah. Also, speaking of, so this week too, the movie this week obviously is Killers of the Flower Moon. We haven't seen the movie yet. Unfortunately, there was no screening for us. It comes out tomorrow, I believe. But I want to ask you guys this. Scorsese, also very controversial the past couple of years. What are you saying about superhero movies and genre and like blockbuster stuff like that? He's been kind of like stirring the pot, as we say. And Leo DiCaprio has been one of the biggest movie stars ever of our lifetime. Nick, I'll start with you, my friend. So when we were in film school, obviously, everyone told, Scorsese this, blah, 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 blah. So, these filmmakers are great. Spike Lee, Tarantino, obviously, like the like iconic filmmakers that were like kind of like shaped the way of what we have today. So I'm asking you this. So is there a Scorsese movie that you kind of like think kind of like is kind of his standout as a filmmaker? And what would it be?
Hmm. Huh. Uh, a Scorsese movie that sticks out to me is this might be a bit of an oddball because, like, he's known for gangster movies, but he did this movie, matter of fact, with Leonardo DiCaprio, called Shutter Island.
Ooh, that's a good
And
one.
like, yeah, like I don't think I would say it's the best of his career, but it is really good. And the way that they handle all of the psychological elements of it, like there's a dream sequence. It is my favorite dream sequence in out of every single film dream sequence I've ever seen, because this one, like, it actually feels like a dream. Like the way it's edited, like nothing matches. The sound is off. The cuts are a little bit off. Like the continuity is a little fucked up. And I guarantee you, in every other dream sequence and every other like TV show or movie, everything is very kind of like lucid and coherent and very straightforward, which is like that always bothers me because that's not how dreams are. Like Scorsese had a sequence like this in Shutter Island, and I was like, this actually feels like a dream because it was all off and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's a good movie. I remember watching it for the first time during COVID, and it stuck with me, man. Like it gave me chills. It gave me
Yeah, that
really
movie was
chills.
wild, man.
It's.
That
I think
movie
it's.
was crazy.
I think that's one that you brought up. I think it's kind of one that's kind of like forgotten about sometimes when you think of like Scorsese and Leo movies. Like you kind of like
Yeah,
forget, like,
it's
oh
very
shit, that's theirs.
underrated.
Yes, super. And it's sad too. I feel like that movie would never. That movie could get made nowadays, but I think it would be kind of. It would take a lot of like convincing. I feel like to that made as well, because it's a very like
Yeah.
it's a very it's a hard movie to pitch for sure. It's a very hard movie to pitch, but like you watch it, you're kind of like, oh shit, like what you're in for. You're just like, oh man, and it fucks with your mind heavily, heavily. Um, so I know that one's also a Leo Scorsese duo as well. But is there another Leo movie that kind of like is your favorite of his acting career so far?
For me, it would either be Inception
Mm-hmm.
or The Aviator, bro.
Is The Aviator good? Never saw it before.
The Aviator is really good because it follows the life of Howard Hughes, who I believe was one of the inspirations for the Iron Man character. But it it's young Leo, but it's showing like the kind of the behind the curtain, shall we say, of this dude's life. Like he was this really big, like larger than my figure, but it's showing like, he had, I think it was like OCD or a stutter or something like that. Like there would be these moments where he would get like stressed out or something, and he would maybe like hallucinate, or he would start saying something, and then like the last sentence he just keeps repeating, and he can't like stop himself from saying it. And it's like this big whole thing, and like his kind of entourage, they have to make sure that no one's around, to make sure that no one can see him like this, because it would kind of mess with his image a little bit. And it just, you got to see basically the man behind the legend, so to speak. And Scorsese, he did a really good job of directing it, and Leo did a really, really good job of acting it. Because there's a couple of scenes, man, like Leo like has to go there, bro. And it's kind of like, dang, this is this is kind of crazy to watch, but it was really good. And Inception, that's just one of my favorite movies, man. That's probably like top 10 for me. And yeah, like Leo killed it in that role too. Like it was really, really good.
Okay, now I'm gonna watch The Aviator now because that recommendation definitely like excited me. Because again, it's been on my list like forever. But now after hearing that, like I'm for sure watching this movie. I'm hyped to watch it now. I'm
Yeah,
looking
you
forward
gotta
to it.
check it out.
I'm hell looking forward to it. All right, Joe. So I'm gonna start with you. So start with your favorite Leo. I know you're a Leo DiCaprio fan too. What's a Leo movie that one of your favorites of his career so far?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh,
Mm.
interesting. How come?
Um, how he played his character. I'm not used to seeing him play a character like that. You know what I mean? Like the closest I would say him playing a character like that would probably be Django Unchained. But for this one, it was just it was funny as shit, but it was like but and emotion so well. You know what I mean? Like you could take that character seriously. With some actors when they do comedies,
Yeah.
they you can't take some of their characters seriously. Like, you're just like, oh, it's funny, but like it's way too over the top, or it's just not believable in certain aspects of certain type of movies. But when he did that movie, like the character was real. I could see someone being like this guy. You know what I mean? I especially love the scene where he's in the trailer alone and he's giving himself shit. You know what I mean? That one was so hilarious and relatable to an extent because you might not be acting in a movie, but like you might do something and then like go be by yourself and give yourself shit where it's just like, what were you doing? Like, why did you say that? Like, you fucking idiot. Just, you know what I mean? I
Mhm.
loved, he did so well. And he showed different emotions such as crying and passion and care, but also in a narcissistic way, and so overall, I loved the movie. I think he did well. If I had to pick a different movie, it would be Catch Me If You Can.
I hate you. Yeah, that was gonna be mine. I feel like you knew.
That was one of that was probably the movie that just got me to fall in love with him as an actor right there. So
That's a
yeah,
good one. Damn.
um,
Uh, damn. What's Pumped in Hollywood? I love the scene where like when the little girl tells him that was the best acting I've ever seen in my life, and he goes, "Thank you." He starts crying. He goes, Rick fucking Dalton. It's so good, dude. It's you watch that scene alone and it makes you laugh because it's like out of context, you just laugh because like the little girl is like just telling him that and he's just like crying, stuff like that. They're seeing, like you said, his little tantrum he had in the trailer because it's like you see that to that, it's like it definitely is a good kind of like a little bit of an arc in a way. Um, I know you're not a big again director, like you said, if you a director, kind of like watch or whatever too. But like, is there a Scorsese movie that you can think of that stuck out to you a lot as a filmographer in his filmography as well?
Goodfellas.
My man, my man. Why that one?
Because it still holds up to like yeah, we watch old movies and we enjoy them as a fan, but like that doesn't mean they hold up. With Goodfellas, it still holds up from characters because every single character is unique, and so they stick out. Even with a big group, like even nowadays, like when we have a big group, it's usually pinpointed on 2 to 3 characters and everyone else's background. But with
Hmm.
Goodfellas, all of them stood. And
Hmm.
so he did that really, but also the way he it told this story, yet we didn't see the whole story, but we knew the whole story, right?
Yeah.
And just different aspects of it. So you're seeing it, you're understanding what's going on, but at the same time, you're just like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened?
It's a very quick pace. It's a very quick
Yeah,
pace.
exactly. And the pace works well. And we talked about this in several other episodes where we watch a movie and we're like, it's really good, but the pace fucking sucks.
Yes, it was slow. Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
like it doesn't work for that movie. But when in this movie, it worked. Like everything in that movie worked so
Hmm.
well for it. The actors, how bloody they were, like, the emotions that they felt, sweating, the heat, like everything worked so well. And it just came all together to make such an amazing film that the older generation still love it and the newer generation can love it, and it just holds up to where it'll be like a Hitchcock movie. You know what I mean? That everyone knows about it. And if you haven't seen it, you know of the film because
Yeah.
people talk about it. People talk about the name. Growing up, I didn't watch the film, but I knew the name Goodfellas, and it took me a long time to see it, but I knew what Goodfellas was, and I never was like, "Oh, what's this movie?" Like everyone knows Goodfellas, so
Hmm.
that movie sticks out to me.
Great choices, man. I'm with it, dude. I'm with it. Not that well said. Yeah, the pace of that movie is phenomenal. And again, R.I.P. Ray Liotta. That movie really has some just like iconic moments that really kind of define a lot of other movies that came after. Um, so I was going over my list the past week, and I was like, oh man, like, I want to see Killers of the Flower Moon really badly, but also it's also 4 hours. I'm kind of like, I'm still a little PTSD from The Irishman because I saw that in theaters too. I remember this ultimate it was our senior year of college, Nick, and it was like, I think I think it was I think Joe just visited us for my 22nd birthday. Joe just left back to Chicago. And I was like, okay, I want to see this movie, but like it was limited run in the theaters because of Netflix doing it. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I missed out on it. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it on Netflix eventually, whatever. Um, and then my professor Mayday, one of the best dudes ever I had at ASU, one of my mentors, he's like, you
Mayday
see,
was awesome.
was the boy, man. He was the boy, man.
He was the
Oh my god,
coolest.
best professor I had at ASU, hands down. He's a really good dude. Taught us a lot of stuff of our, what we know today, and from film school. And I was talking to him for like a meeting after like class one day, and he goes, "You see Irishman yet?" I was like, "I haven't. I watched it in theaters. I had my wisdom teeth removed." And he goes, "Doug, go home right now and watch the fucking Irishman." I was like, "Yes, sir." Um, but I was like, "I want to see it in theaters." He goes, just watch it. You just gotta watch it. I'm like, all right. I was looking. I wanted to see it. I know Alamo Draft House when it was still in Phoenix had it for like a week or two and it went away. And like I think Harkins didn't have it. That's what I didn't have a car at the time either. So I was like, where can I find this movie and watch it at home? And I'm like, I don't know. And I remember I took the ASU free shuttle bus from our old dorms at Best Hall at ASU to the downtown campus, and I walked my ass to this little kind of like divey bar, like little movie theater called the Film Bar, which is now gone thanks to COVID, unfortunately, which I'm heartbroken over. And they showed like very artsy, very kind of hipster. They had like local drafts. They had like like their own popcorn stuff, and they would show like kind of like artsy movies. They would show a lot of like classics like Pulp Fiction and Goodfellas and like Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X, stuff like that. A lot of like Spike Lee, Scorsese, Spielberg movies. A lot of like foreign films too. Um, so they're cool. I'm going to this small theater in Phoenix. I'm gonna go see it. Why not? And it's really kind of cozy. Again, it was just sort of like, it was not a huge theater. It was kind of like a smaller, kind of like a screening room almost, like a decent sized screen. I was like, cool, I'm here. I remember I was so hyped for this movie. And I remember 4 hours later, I was like, I should stay my ass at home and watch this on the TV. This was a waste of my trip. This is a waste of a trip. Because
Bruh.
I was like, movie to me was really a bit of a letdown. And I'm hyped to see Killers. I really am. But the trailers have like not sold me 100% yet. I want to see it because it's De Niro, it's Scorsese, it's Leo DiCaprio. It's this crazy fucking story about what happened to the Osage County tribe and people. So I'm curious about the
Yeah.
story itself. I want to see it, but also I'm worried that I'm going to spend 4 hours in a theater to be like, this was Irishman all over again. Because again, I was hyped with Irishman, and I can't wait. Scorsese fan, De Niro, Pesci, everybody like this is gonna be crazy. And Al Pacino, I was like, this is gonna be nuts. And the whole time I'm kind of like, I kind of want to go home and nap. And I saw it like at 10 p.m. at night too, like a dumbass. I was like, I don't care.
Oh hell no.
I'm seeing in theaters. I work at 7 a.m. next day. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna see this movie in theater somehow. And the whole time I was like, I should have stayed my ass home and watched on my 32-inch TV, my small ass TV that I had at the time in my dorm, in my apartment. And I was like, damn. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hearing good things about it, but also I don't get my hopes up because I'm also like, even with Silence too. Do you ever see Silence by chance?
Yeah, I started Silence. I didn't get the chance to finish it yet, though.
Exactly. That's the right answer.
Oh, dude, you're crazy for that. You wild for that, bro.
No, because I did the same thing, and I remember watching on my laptop during college, whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna get back to it eventually. I'm gonna get back to it. Never did. And I think I saw the ending somewhere like on TV one day, random like me on TNT or TBS, whatever. And I was like, what is this movie or FX, whatever? And I'm like, oh, it's Silence. And I was like, oh yeah, I never finished this movie. And I watched the end. I was like, I'm cool. I mean, I know I was a huge part of like
the movie. No spoilers for that because like I definitely do want to see it.
No, trust me.
It looks good. It just like I was like, damn, I'm not gonna finish this tonight because I almost started it at like 8:30.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Would not recommend. No. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you how it ended. I forgot. It's been a few years. Totally forgot about it. I was like, okay, it's basically priests trying to find Liam Neeson. It's the reverse Taken basically, where like they're looking for Liam Neeson this time. So anyway, I haven't been impressed with his movie since Wolf of Wall Street, which I love. But to me, this was a tie. My favorite Scorsese movie definitely is between either Goodfellas and Wolf of Wall Street because I remember reading the book in high school. I loved the book. Saw the movie. I was like, holy shit, what is this movie? This is crazy. And it stuck with me so like much. I was seeing some shit that I've seen before. I saw a lot of dicks, saw a lot of tits. I saw a lot of stuff on a lot on the big screen. I saw a lot of nudity. I saw a lot of butts, a lot of ass, a lot of breasts. So a lot of shit that I'm like, wow, this is a first. And the movie starts off with go ahead.
No, I was just saying that movie was wild.
I thought with Leo DiCaprio doing cocaine out of a Lady of the Night's ass. Put it that way. Anyway, so for me, I think we're with Goodfellas too. Like Joe, I remember seeing Goodfellas. I took a film class my senior year of high school where it was a dual enrollment where I was getting college credit while I was in high school. And my professor at the time, he was just like, he showed me all these kind of classics, a lot of like international films too. And I remember seeing Goodfellas for the first time when I was 17 in this class, senior year of high school, and I was like, "Whoa, this is awesome!" And I grew up watching The Godfather. My mom's favorite movie is The Godfather, but like Goodfellas to me just like I don't know, like hit me different. I mean, maybe at the right time, I was a 17-year-old teenage boy, like violence and craziness and guns and like car chase stuff like that. Like it just worked for me. But to me, like the pace of that movie is amazing. The writing of that movie is phenomenal. Ray Liotta's monologues and narration is perfect, if you ask me. And Ray Liotta works so well with Pesci and De Niro, where you're just like, wow, this movie is incredible. And it takes you and it runs with you the next 3 hours. The runtime goes by, 3 hours go by so fast. We're just like, oh my god, this is like already done with it. And the pace really is a character of its own. But like the movie has no problem telling you like who these people are, what they are. They're not good people, but you're rooting for the bad guys in a way. You're rooting for these kind of these schmucky, low lives. But like they're schmucky, but they're very charming in their own ways. But you want to kind of root for them and see what happens. And Ray Liotta, the scene when he's doing the pasta sauce and he's on cocaine and the chopper's like following him. It's so anxiety induced. You're just like, oh my god, like release me now, please release me. But I love the movie so much. One of my top 10 of all time. But from what I'm hearing about Killers, where it's like it's the opposite, where it's like you're gonna feel the runtime of this movie, and I'm like, no, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear this 4-hour runtime. I don't want to hear that. So I'm like, oh, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. I might bring a little blanket and a pillow, and maybe make some red wine as well. But yeah, it's my favorite movie of his. For Leo, also tough. This again, it was a tie between Wolf of Wall Street and Catch Me If You Can. I remember seeing Catch Me If You Can when I was growing up, And that's probably still my favorite Spielberg movie. But Leo, that movie is so charming. This young Leo, he's so charming that like he's a smooth talker. It's again, this is a true story, and it's again the way he plays it is like so even more believable. You're just like, wow, I can't believe this is a true story, and how all this happened. He's so the way he talks the way out of things, the way kind of he dupes the FBI and the CIA and the checks and the banks, like this kid's 18. He's doing this before he's even a legal, like before he's 21. This is crazy.
I know that's wild. I ain't
But
seen that movie in a minute.
it's so good, dude. If it's on TV, right, or on the plane, I'll watch it. 'Cause I'm like, oh, I love this movie so much. I can't turn it off. 'Cause I'm like, it's so good. It grabs you, and it just like you're so into it too. Um, so that was tough. But I think Wolf of Wall Street is his best movie just because of like the things he do in that movie is absurd. But man, every moment of that movie is earned from him doing the Quaaludes with Jonah Hill to him getting in the car driving off expired Quaaludes to like the I'm not fucking leaving. The chest bump stuff. Like it's a really a once in a lifetime performance that you're just like, wow, what am I? I'm watching like history in the making right now. And that year when McConaughey won, who I love McConaughey too, one of my favorite actors. I love his book. Likable dude, lovable dude, love him. But I did think that year should have gone to Leo because Leo was really giving his all in that movie, and it's to me I was like, damn, he should have won for that, not The Revenant. Because I told this to you before, I told this to Joe before too. In The Revenant, I thought Tom Hardy was better than Leo in The Revenant personally. Where I thought Tom Hardy had a better arc and had a better kind of just like I don't know. Leo's kind of like the whole time in The Revenant. It's like, the whole movie, which like, that's the movie. I'm not gonna lie, that is the movie. But I really think that Tom Hardy as the villain was a more interesting character, and I liked more of his storyline than Leo's storyline. Where I was like, I really think Leo should have won for Wolf, and not Revenant, and Tom Hardy should have won for The Revenant instead. But again, that's just my little hot take. But yeah, man, reading the Wolf of Wall Street book and seeing what Leo able to like really play this schmuck ass, corrupt ass Jordan Belfort is really remarkable. And it's a tour de force, it's really like once in a lifetime performance of an actor where you're sitting there, you're just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing on screen, but he commits to all the crazy sex scenes, the Quaaludes, the drinking, the drugs, the everything. Like it's absurd, but like that's a performance that you'll never see again from an actor. I feel like, well, from him at least. But like it's one that really sticks with you. You're just like, how the hell did he pull this off? This is remarkable. So I love Catch Me If You Can, love Inception as well, love Django. But when you watch Wolf, it's Leo is just really taking the ball, running with it. We're just like, holy shit, this is crazy. This is crazy. Like, what am I watching? This is this absurd, but in like the most perfect way, how absurd it can be. So that's mine. Yeah, and like I said, looking forward to seeing Killers. Are you looking forward to seeing Killers at all, Nick? Or are you kind of like, I'll catch it down the road?
No, I'm really interested in it because I like Martin Scorsese's movies. Like Irishman was it was a bit of a letdown for me, but
Yeah.
like I saw the trailer for Killers and I was like, dang, this looks dope because it's Leo's coming back, and plus like I saw Brandon Fraser in it, and that really piqued my interest.
That's
right. I like Brandon Fraser a lot, and I haven't seen him really in a more dramatic, serious role. Like the closest one I can think of would be his role as Robot Man in that Doom Patrol show. But I'm like, they got Brendan Fraser in the Scorsese movie. I got to check this out.
Yeah, I totally forgot he was in that too. Also, I like Jesse Plemons too. Jesse Plemons is a really underrated actor, if you ask me. I think he's really kind of like shown his range.
He's good. I haven't seen him in too much stuff though, to be honest.
I mean, Breaking Bad to me is like Breaking Bad. No, that's right. Like Mike, that's right. He's the fucking villain in Like Mike. I always forget that he was a fucking bully kid. He's the bully kid, dude. That in Like Mike.
That's it. Hey, because I haven't seen that movie since like 2004.
Dude, he's the fucking bully kid in Like Mike. Oh my god, I totally forgot about that too. Oh my goodness, Like Mike. And I'm trying to think what else. Breaking Bad, obviously. you ever see Game Night by chance?
Game night. No, I didn't. With
Okay.
Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. No, I didn't see that.
I'm gonna give you my Movies Anywhere login so you can watch this movie. You're gonna love Game Night. That shit is hilarious. That shit is hilarious,
Appreciate you,
dude.
bro.
You're gonna watch it with Kaylin if you can too. You're gonna love this movie. Game Night is fucking hilarious, and he's so weird in it, but it's so funny. It's so fucking funny, dude. He steals the scenes that he's in, man. I got you.
Appreciate
I'm trying to think who
you.
else. Of course, who else that we know him from. I mean, he was great also in Judas and the Black Messiah.
Who? Wait, what are you talking about?
Jesse Plemons. You've seen Game Night, right?
Yeah.
He played the weirdo cop neighbor with the dog.
I fucking love that guy. That guy's fucking hilarious. He's really good, man.
Great actor. And also, if you've seen the Black Mirror episode with the Star Trek one, he was like the main guy in the Star Trek Black Mirror episode. And that's my favorite Black Mirror episode of all time because he's fucking.
I watched like a few episodes of Black Mirror. I was like, I'm good.
Okay.
That was it.
If you could watch one more episode like ever, the Star Trek one is remarkable, dude. Trust me. The way the productions on that episode, the performances are amazing. It's a trip. Like it's a trip. And to me, when I first saw it, I was like, yo, this is tripping me out. But in the best way possible. So I remember Nick was telling me like during COVID, he goes, you should watch these episodes of Black Mirror because like, this thing, whatever. Him and Hamza were talking about those at a movie one time, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch these episodes. And the Star Trek one fucked me up. I was like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. And Plemons is amazing in this. So I don't know. Again, you're right. Brendan Fraser is in this movie. It's right because you said he was great in The Whale, wasn't he, Joe?
Brendan Fraser?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. But he was great. He was amazing in The Whale. Yes.
Yeah, I gotta watch that too. But oh man, I'm looking for again. I'm hoping it does well. Like I said, I give Apple a lot of props for putting some movie on the big screen. Then it'll be on Apple TV how many months from now, whatever. But again, I respect Apple TV for putting out their movies on the big screen in a wide release with Paramount Pictures. So kudos to you, Apple.
Yes, indeed.
Alrighty, boys. I think this was a fun episode. Got a lot of cool things down. For a non-review episode, we got a lot of things to talk about. This was a good episode. I think we should still do because it's spooky season. I'm just gonna do a 1-in-1. Joe, do you want to explain what our 1-in-1s are?
Yeah, sure. Our 1-on-1s is when each of us, one at a time, recommend one movie and one show for you. Just so you can put on your watch list. We know you probably won't watch it right away, and just hopefully down the line, whether it's a week, a few months, maybe a couple of years, well, you'll eventually watch. He would love you, even if
You're cutting out, my guy. I'm sorry.
you go ahead. Oh my goodness!
You're back. You were so good, and then went. I'm like, no, come back to us, come back to the light, Joe. Don't you die on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you die on me, Ricky Bobby.
You are not paralyzed.
Fucking knife in the leg. Yeah, I'll start it off real quick. For spooky season, I've been trying to watch one more of my favorite horror movies and a lot of new horror movies too. So my movie of the week I'm gonna recommend is the 2011 remake of Fright Night. I've seen the original Fright Night a long time ago, and it was cool. It was something cool. But it wasn't until Joe told me about it when we were in like middle school, and I was like, okay, I'm intrigued by it. I think either that you and I saw it together, or I saw it by myself. Or I saw it again with you, Joe. But I remember sneaking into the movie, and I was like 13, 14. No, I was 13 years old. I wasn't really a big horror guy back then. I was very, very squeamish, very a bit of a wuss. I was like, I don't want to see blood. Da, da, da. And I remember sneaking to this movie with my 3D glasses that I brought from home actually, because it was 3D, it was Friday Night 3D, and I brought my glasses from home. Because I'm like, well, I'm sneaking in. I can't get glasses because this movie's rated R. I'm 13 years old. And I remember sitting in the back, like me two other people in the theater. And I was like, "Yo, this is like really good." And for a not a horror fan, it just stuck with me. It was Colin Farrell. Again, Friday basically is set in this suburban town. This 17-year-old kid, he's a nerd now. He's becoming popular. And one of his friends tells him that his new neighbor is a vampire. And the teenager Charlie, played by Anton Yelchin, R.I.P. the great Anton Yelchin. He was saying, "You're crazy, man. Vampires aren't real. You're just absurd." But then people start going missing in the neighborhood, and he sees the neighbor kind of being kind of like very strange and very very kind of like dark and moody and very kind of just like really creepy, where it kind of raises an eyebrow a little bit. And he discovers that his next door neighbor is a very charming, handsome vampire played by the great Colin Farrell. And it's a very bonkers movie of what happened, stuff like that. Again, I was seeing it in 3D when I was a teenager, and the 3D like super worked for like this horror movie where I'm like, whoa, this is some great 3D and it works. But the scares are there, but also it's funny as hell. It's a really good. I love a good horror comedy, hybrid genre, and this one like works incredibly well. I think it's one of the best remakes ever, if you ask me. If not one of the best remakes ever made. The humor works there. Acting's great from everyone from Anton Yelchin to Colin Farrell to Toni Collette to Imogen Poots to Christmas Plots, aka McLovin. It's a really, really great movie that I think came out and no one saw it, unfortunately. But if you can find it somewhere, it's awesome. It's a really great vampire comedy horror movie. Love it. So I would recommend. I watched it every Halloween season. Again, it's one that I think about a lot, and great score, great pace to it. So again, I'm sad the movie kind of didn't do well in the box office, but if you can watch it now, it's worth every minute because it's a great horror comedy / remake. And for my show of the week, I'm gonna go with a show called Upload, which I think season 3 just came out today. Actually, that I haven't seen yet. And Upload is from the creator of The Office and Parks and Rec, Greg Daniels. It's basically where set in like an alternate future where in the future where when you pass away, you can upload your consciousness to a VR system. It's same you. People can visit you like via VR headsets, stuff like that. You're still you. Your body's still you, but obviously your body's no longer with us. But your consciousness is still uploaded to this kind of like amazing cloud thing that's like run by this like huge corporation. It has like kind of like Apple. If Apple had like extremely VR, but like you can also upload yourself once you pass away. But it comes with a price. It's really kind of funny comedy because it's like this guy again has an accident. He doesn't know what he's getting into, so he uploads himself. But again, he dies. So now his consciousness is now living on this cloud server, and it's kind of him figuring out his now afterlife of like how does he manage like his new life now. He can still see his friends and family, via when they do their VR to talk to him. But like he's lonely. He's trying to make friends, and basically it's also kind of like a satire about class. Like if you're richer, you can get the best premium package, you get like the best room, whatever. And if you're poor and no money, you're in the fucking slums. You have like the goop every day for lunch. You have like the shittiest apartment, whatever. You have like you can't unlock like the better like clothes, whatever, or food, or like better experience. Basically, it's like the more money you pay, basically, the better experience you have in your afterlife, which is kind of a very weird kind of like premise, but it's very charming. There's again 3 seasons as of today. I'm going to probably have to see the new season this weekend actually, but it's a very charming show. Also, too, I like that in the show, it's all unknown actors. Like you don't have like Will Ferrell or Steve Carell or Michael B. Jordan or Denzel, and it's literally all unknown actors. I'm like, cool. I know who these people were, so it's cool seeing people I don't recognize in this role because I'm like, okay, yeah. If I see him in another show or movie, it's the guy or girl from Upload. That's really cool seeing that. So, Yeah, super great show. Again, I'm glad Amazon brought it back for another season. It's a very intriguing show. Season 2 had a really bit of a cliffhanger. Upload Amazon Prime. Super recommended. And yeah, that's my show of the week. Nick, floor is yours, my friends. My friend.
So for my movie of the week, I'm gonna go with a film called It Comes at Night.
Ooh.
This is an A24 movie with Joel Edgerton. It's a little spooky. It's first off, I love the A24 horror movies, and this is basically it follows a family, Joel Edgerton's family, and like they're trying to stay alive. It seems like it's maybe in the middle of some sort of virus or something like that. So something's going on, but they don't really get into it, and that's because the story's not really about like the thing that created the situation there, and it's really just about the situation they're in. So it's one of those types of situations where it's like, we got to focus our family. We can't let other people in, but they're forced into a situation where they have to let another family in. So then tensions are rising, and it's like, can we trust each other? And it builds up to an incredible climax. And the movie, I would give it like a 9 out of 10. It was really, really good. I would definitely recommend it. And for the show, since we're in the October season, my show is Supernatural, a little CW show with Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki following the characters Sam and Dean Winchester as they travel across America and kill monsters. Overall, fun show. I like it. I I do think it should have ended in season 5. But the way it like for real, because also that was the original ending, but the way it ultimately ended, I think it was a good ending for the show and for the characters. It was nice and it was sweet, but at the same time, well, I'm not gonna get into that. That's kind of spoilers, but it's a very fun show. Great characters, great adventures. Especially the first 5 seasons. Like the first 5 seasons is peak Supernatural. Overall, I'd give the show maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. Because I also skipped a few seasons. I'm not gonna lie.
Probably for the right reasons. I would assume, right? Probably for good reasons.
Yeah, like I skipped like 5 seasons, bro.
You should not have done that, but
Wait,
everyone has their own way of watching.
I have a question, Nick. Did the guy who make this show also make The Boys?
That's right, Eric Kripke, I believe.
No
That's how you
shit.
pronounce it.
Okay.
It's the same guy.
Well, I thought.
Yep, it's the same guy.
Because I know Kripke hired Jensen Ackles, who's off topic my choice for the next Batman, if you ask me.
He would be dope as Batman.
Because he cast him as Soldier Boy in The Boys.
That's right.
And Soldier Boy is a fucked character. He's a fucked character in The Boys, but damn, it's charming at the same time. He's the most.
He's really fun to watch, but this dude is kind of out there.
He's like literally like the antithesis of Captain America.
For real.
Oh my gosh, I got my Supernatural. All right, Joe, my friend, floor is yours. What's your one of the ones of the week?
All right, I'm going to bring up a movie that I have loved since I was younger, and I'm not a horror fan, but this movie, every time it's on, I have to watch it. It stars our beloved psychopath, Shia LaBeouf, and is called Disturbia.
Great movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
Solid one.
Sort of like yours, but instead of a charming vampire, it's a charming murderer next door to him. So Disturbia, Shia LaBeouf's character, he gets under house arrest, so he has nothing to do all day. You get bored, you're stuck, you're a teenager trying to figure out what to do, so what better to do than spy on your neighbors, see what they're doing, check out the hot new chick, the neighbor, the older guy brought a pretty young chick home. And then he witnessed him murder her. but then he sees that same person that got murdered leave. So he's trying to figure it out. It's a mysterious sort of horror, mysterious murder type movie. It's really good. It's also funny because it's like, young Shia LaBeouf. So, there's comedy in it, and his character is just very high pitched and like panicky, sort of like Transformers when it was still good.
Mhm.
it- it's a really good movie though, story wise and acting pretty great. There's probably gonna be some acting where you're just like, oh dear God, but it was a really good movie. I enjoy it still to this day. It's a movie if someone puts it on, I'm gonna sit down to watch it because I love it so much. It's a really great movie. I love it.
Great soundtrack too. Great
Yes,
soundtrack.
very much so. So definitely love that movie. And then for the show, I'm gonna do Penny Dreadful, which has 3 seasons and is a
Yo, that show
Showtime show.
goes, bro.
Yeah.
That's my
So
shit right there.
everyone knows Dr. Frankenstein and the Wolfman, basically, werewolves and all that stuff. Well, basically, this show what takes it and it shows us their origin in a different light, and it's a very psychological show too. So it's not something just like, oh yeah, there's monsters. Like it plays with your head to where you don't know where the fuck it's going or what the fuck is going to happen next. And it's just really, really good. And all the actors do so amazing. The cinematography is great. The story is intriguing and really like captivating. And I love it. I love that it's set in, Victorian era London. It works so well for the show. I love it. It's such a great show.
I'm looking at the writers right now. There's some good writers. They have John Logan co-wrote this as well as a girl named Christy Wilson Cairns. I want to butcher her name. John Logan wrote The Aviator, Skyfall,
Hmm.
Gladiator,
Hmm.
um, Hugo, Rango, Sweeney Todd, The Last Samurai. It's hilarious. And Sinbad. That's hilarious. This dude has a pretty good filmography as a writer, and Skyfall's the best Bond movie if you ask me. And then his
No, I agree with
co-writer,
you 100%.
fucking Skyfall, bro. Put that shit on, bro. I'm there. I'm fucking there. And
Say
then
it best.
Christy Wilson Cairns, I can butcher her name. She wrote stuff like Last Night in Soho, 1917, which is a great war movie. So wow, you got some good writers on this show. Got some really good writers on the show. That's really cool. I had no idea about the show until you guys told me about it. This is like on my radar now for sure. I'm hell looking forward to seeing this. Penny
Yeah,
Dreadful.
it's really good. When I first saw the trailers for it, I was like, I have to watch this. So,
Damn,
back in 2014 when it first came out, I was watching this shit like faithfully, like every day.
damn. This slipped under my radar big time. Oh man, yeah. This is definitely my alley. Hell yeah.
I
All
did
right.
tell you about it back then too, because I was telling you what show I was watching, and I explained it.
I believe you. I don't know. Why I don't know why. Like, why I'm blanking on it for some reason. I don't know why I'm blanking on it because I gotta.
You probably wrote it off in your head back then. You've done that. I've done that to you as well. So everyone's done that, where you're just like, it might be something good, but just the way it sounds or the way it's explained or, just your mindset at the time where you're just like, no, I'm good.
Man, I'm blanking on the show, but I'm definitely gonna watch it now. But alrighty, guys. Also, Nick, I didn't tell you that, man. Congrats on your new short film, bro. I didn't tell you this all day. I watched it when it aired. I was so into it. I put on the big 80-inch TV, and I was like, all right, Nick and Jake, what you got for us? What you got for us?
Oh,
And I
thank you.
really liked.
Appreciate it.
I like. I want spoiling for the audience, but like, I like the use of red in this. It
Mm,
was
thank you. Thank
it was
you.
very Kubrick like. I'll give you that. It was very Kubrick like.
Oh, wow.
Also, it kind of reminded me of like a little bit of like Ari Aster when there's the scene where you're like looking at your beard. It was
Mm-hmm.
given like kind of like Ari Aster, kind of like horror in the daytime kind of vibe. That makes sense.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. Cool. Thank you. That's interesting. I like. That's a really cool comparison.
Yeah, no, again, I'm not trying to spoil anything for the audience, but like the use again, I love when like people use like certain colors as like their kind of defining thing in their films. And your use of red was really
Mm-hmm.
cool. Again, it was giving like Mike Flanagan, Stanley Kubrick vibes. And there's a scene where like you and like the scene from your point of view, we're looking at Jake, and the red feels kind of almost like Sin City at times too.
Interesting. Okay. So
I'm watching it.
we were kind of going for you remember those the opening credits to Hellboy where it's all red and shit?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was
Interesting.
the initial inspiration for it because I was like, I wanted it to be just like we wanted it to be like really just like uncomfortable and kind of like you feel just really like I feel nasty kind of being here. You know, we were going for something like that. A little disturbing, uncomfortable, but also mysterious and kind of like, what is this place? Where am I right now? But yeah, thank you, man. I'm glad that you liked it, man. It took us a while to. We were working on that for like the better part of a year, low key.
Yeah, well, it
Um,
definitely shows in the production quality, man, for sure, for
Thank you,
sure.
bro. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I'll text you. I think while I was watching it, I took a screenshot of like what kind of. There's a scene where from Jake's POV, kind of spooked me.
Hmm.
About I'll text
Oh
you
yeah.
what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it for the audience, but now I wanted to congratulate that because it was really good. You know, again, I wanted to put it on the big 80-inch TV in the living room to kind of really fully immerse it. Like I said, man, it was giving me like goosebumps. I was just like, oh, this is good. Like, all right, Nick, all right, Jake, I see what y'all doing. I see you guys. Um,
Thank you. Thank you. We aim to impress. You feel me?
no, like I said, we've seen a lot of movies this year, but like again, with you and Moses, man, you guys make you guys make your short films look like way better than other movies that we've seen this year. Like
Well, thank you, man. That means a lot for sure.
I would happily watch The Otherly like any day of the week over some movies that we've seen this year because like your production, given the budget that you guys had, is pretty impressive. Again,
Thank
I'll be
you.
honest, it's
Thank
pretty
you very much.
impressive. But I'll make sure to put it on our link tree too, so they can watch it for our listeners and our audience.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Yes.
Of course.
Please do.
All right, Joe, you're the Grand Master, man. Take us home. Take us home, wizard.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for that title. Thank y'all for coming on. Sorry. Thank y'all for joining us on this verbal journey through our thoughts, opinions, views, and mad ramblings of our passion for movies and TV shows. We thoroughly enjoy having you guys listen to us, enjoy talking about all these things, and, just getting, what's on our mind and what we see out there to people who agree or disagree and would love to have that, back and forth and, to help people be okay with knowing that their opinions are okay to have. Anyways, we love you guys. Stay safe. Have a good night, morning, afternoon, evening, and tell someone you love them.
What about our socials?
I'm tired. Our socials are on the link tree on our Instagram. But yeah, you guys go ahead and tag yourself, plug yourself.
Go ahead, Nick.
I'm Nick. You can find me at Dawning Vision on YouTube, capital D, capital V, and on Instagram it's at Dawning Vision, all lowercase, all in one word. And you can find us, like I said, on YouTube and anywhere that they have podcasts.
And you can find me on Instagram at DeYoungJones. You can find our show, The Boys, as well Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, which is at Midway Avenue Productions. And in our link tree, you can find Joel's Twitch. You can find Nick's amazing short film, both main short films, the link to Dawning Vision, as well as other links in our link tree. Also find me on Twitter or sorry X. Sorry Elon X. Called it's at Capri_Sun, like the juice box, but even sweeter. And I'm doing more kind of like quick thoughts, whatever there on that. Like I said, also again, go to the YouTube page. Go to the YouTube page. You know, we're trying to put out more reactions, as you heard in the beginning of the show. We got our first death threat, so we're doing something good, right, guys? So yeah, you follow us there. Again, what's with the full audio show on our YouTube page there. So thank you guys so much for listening. Off to you, Joe.
Yeah, have a good night, morning, afternoon. Yeah, love y'all. Bye.